York to the world. Subscribe now to the Hot 97 YouTube channel. It's Ebro in the Morning with Laura Stiles and Rosenberg.
I'm very familiar with what's going on YouTube and what's been going on in New York City streets with gangs. And if a rapper has the name Woo or Chew somewhere associated with their name, that's a gang affiliation, as far as I've been told. So for your family to just be like, oh, they was a good kid though, but they was running around with this association tied to their name on social media and YouTube and all that. And the reason I point that out is because even since I was young, people affiliated with gangs, openly affiliated with gangs, who also happen to make music, have been having these sort of problems, because guess what that gang life brings? These sort of problems.
Mm-hmm.
True. And listen, I don't even have 1 million followers on social media. Our views that we get on our show for interviews that we put up, they're cool, they're good. Because we on this program don't carry or talk about a lot of these things because I don't think it's smart.
Well, also, who are you trying to appeal to and even talking about it? The average person driving to work every day, they don't know who these cats are.
So yesterday, our compadre, our colleague, cool guy, DJ Drewski, put up a post, and I think it was covered by one of the hip-hop blogs. He was like, yo, I'm not going to be playing any of these records that I think are associated with any of these beefs going on in the streets.
Which is a good call.
Like, I'm not going to do it. I posted it. We don't play that stuff on my program, and I don't play that stuff on Apple Music. Now, have I probably played things unbeknownst to me that had things in it that I didn't know what it was talking about? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Have I supported individuals and artists that got hot in the city that I knew had affiliations, but I was hoping by supporting their music it would change their trajectory and get them somewhere else? Absolutely. So, and I say all of this to say, right now, and for probably the last almost decade, and I've been saying it this way, the algorithm awards beefing, drama, chaos, and so these dudes that we're hearing about, they have issues in the street and they make songs about it and they make videos on YouTube and it gets them hot because it's real things going on and it's chaos and all of this. They get hot and hopefully get a record deal and make some money. Mm-hmm. So they're being rewarded for their behavior by the algorithm.
Mm-hmm. And then by labels. Etc.
And then ultimately by corporations who are like, oh, this is hot. This is what people are consuming. We'll give you money for that. Mm-hmm. If people were consuming something else, they would make something else.
That's not new in hip-hop.
It's not new at all. That's my point. It's not new at all. But I just wanted to make sure that we addressed it today.
It is worse, though. It is different.
Well, because social media.
So, but that's the thing. But that's what it is. So even if we say, like, it's not new, right? And even when we say that, like, people talking about the streets and violence is common in hip-hop, you are living under a rock or lying to yourself if you think that the amount of actual violence that's around it and coming to those artists is not way worse now than it was 20 or 30 years ago.
Oh yeah,
we're talking about deaths on a week. Yeah, we're talking about deaths on a every what?
Well, so,
I honestly hear about a rapper dying
difference.
every week.
Right, but here's the difference, and I'm glad you said that. The difference is we wouldn't have called in the 90s when I was a kid, when I was younger, we wouldn't have called somebody trying to get a record deal a rapper. Now we call them a rapper because they put up a video that they made on their iPhone.
And it already got a couple million views.
And it got a couple million views. We're calling them a rapper. We would have called them a gang member.
Right. It was a person. It's sad, but it's not an artist who died. It's a person who died.
Right. It's still terrible.
Right.
But now we're calling them rappers because they use social media and YouTube and these things to get a record deal, making the music whatever, this music.
So basically the music to you, from the way I'm taking it, in a lot of cases, not all, it's not even so much that they're artists. much as the music is just a revenue stream. And then
They're hustling.
They're hustling.
They're
It's
trying
just
to get money.
Straight hustle.
Yes.
It's not about music.
It's
just
the
hustle.
music is a means to an end, and it's easy to make now.
Right. So then
and you don't even have to be good at rapping.
No.
You don't have to be good at rapping. The music isn't good. And this goes back to when everybody in the city was mad. This goes back to y'all allowing that trash-ass Tekashi 6ix9ine thing to take place. Because it was terrible. Not just whom he was, what he was perpetuating, and the music was trash. But because it was hot on the gram and everybody wants clout and views, you associated yourself with it.
But he's
Listen,
only one example. There's so many other examples of people who are better at the music, who we liked more.
Yes.
Who are still part of the same
For
cultural
sure.
thing.
But I'm saying the gateway to it, the entry point to it, everybody's doing it, is my point. Everyone's calling themselves a rapper. Everyone's trying this scheme to get hot on socials, to get on YouTube, to beef about something, to get a bag, and hopefully put some fresh kicks on it. You know what I'm saying?
He
Make
was a
couple
huge
of stacks.
influence for that you don't
And
even need talent.
You don't
could
even
just-
need to be good.
You could just make up what you are and people will get into it.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and remember how freakish his views were? Like, we couldn't even make sense of the amount of views.
And
he
I
was
almost
getting.
buckled at that time. I almost buckled and interviewed him. Remember that? Yeah. Because how long was I like, absolutely not, I'm not talking to him.
Well,
absolutely not.
No, lift up the curtain all the way. We did buckle. You were going to do it.
Oh, yes.
And he went to jail that day.
He went to jail that day, yes.
We said finally, because he kept approaching it in a way that was like, he really kept trying. And they were like, he really wants to have a respectful conversation. I ran into him once. He said he wanted to come. All these things
and
happened.
he seemed like a nice enough dude when people met him. I never actually met him.
So Ebro finally caved and was like, you know what? Let's all right, fine. We'll do it as a surprise, secret thing. He'll show up and we'll have it out. Have the conversation. That day he went to jail. Literally, that day he went to jail.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
It was not meant to be. It was not meant to be.
But I just want to point this out for the city because this is all of our fault. For lowering our standards, for not being real leaders to our young people, for not providing opportunities in music or otherwise for young people. This is all of our fault because they're trying to make money. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to find an outlet, and they're seeing their friends making money or people that come from their neighborhood making money doing this. So they're like, yo, I heard so-and-so got 50 racks. Let's do it. Let's go.
And how did he get it? Oh, well, he was hot because of X, Y, Z, wop, wop, wop. Now they do the same thing, and now they're perpetuating beef and profiting off of it. And we have it
And
again.
it's all of our fault.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, it trickles down to the record labels, to the A&Rs who sign these kids. because of
DJs
that.
at this
Well, the thing
radio
is-
station.
On top of that, a lot of these kids don't even have record deals, so it's not even.
Well,
it's-
no, I
this is
know.
before
But they're
that.
trying. They're trying.
Yeah.
They're trying.
and they see that as a possibility because it's happened before. But listen, no one wants to, that people want to make things that are hot and make money. What do you want to do? Just make artsy-fartsy hip-hop that gets played by Rosenberg at 1 a.m. on Sunday?
No.
No one
Nobody
wants
wants
that.
that. Nobody
no one,
wants
No one wants
that.
to just make music that's, by artists making music.
And by the way, there are some individuals who are good at making music. They just happen to be gang affiliated. That is a thing.
But that
They
has
have
always
talent,
been there. But
and that's always been there.
But that, I feel like those cats, the ones who are affiliated, but they really are artists, they in pretty quick fashion have people around them going, okay, we're going to remove you now from this stuff. You should focus on music.
They try.
But see, they try. That's
They
not
try.
happening. It's not as easy as it was back before.
They can't escape it in the same way. You're saying they're still too
No.
connected to it.
They're still too connected to it, and to Ebro's point, is what's making them hot. So they're not gonna leave what's
They
making
keep
them
playing
hot.
with
They can't.
what's keeping them hot. The beef is keeping
Right.
them hot.
That's
The
what I'm-
friction, the chaos is keeping them hot.
But that's why, but honestly, that's why I admit, over the last 5 years, I have not been particularly supportive or excited about any of the drill rappers. I like some of them personally, right? Like I like Fivio. Like I like these guys. I would have loved to have gotten to know Pop Smoke. But even Pop Smoke, who, God bless the dead, whose project I loved, when I listened to the album that came out after he passed, You know how uncomfortable it made me to listen to? Because it was still so close to this stuff, which eventually, though he died in Los Angeles, still felt related to all of the same thing. And as a 40-something-year-old man, I'm like, could we still play this?
And by the way, this is happening.
These are kids.
And by the way, this is happening in Philly. It's happening in L.A. It's happening in New York. And there was a report I saw on the news of Chicago. I saw on the news New Orleans, Miami. I saw a report on the news about the amount of guns, ghost guns, that are being removed from the street, and gun modification parts, and all of these things. Which today you have the president of the United States, the mayor, and the governor of the state all meeting to try to put together a plan to keep this flow of guns out of the state. And just guns in general.
You mean of New York State?
Of New York State. They're going to be having, state troopers at the border. They, you see the show of force of police in New York City. I think they're launching like these, I'm calling it a task force, but they're calling it something else, where there's just basically these roving individuals of police departments walking around, checking on people, checking guns, all that. The show of force is back in New York City.
And
they're not playing no games. And they know exactly who the individuals are.
What do you mean? Which individuals?
The individuals, they told us years ago. Remember, years ago we met with them and they was like, yo, we know exactly who the individuals are that perpetuate all of this stuff in neighborhoods. The problem is I think people are being dishonest about who the flow of guns is coming through, because it ain't these little kids in the neighborhoods that have the flow of guns.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're not transporting guns. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's where the dishonesty takes place. The kids are the ones who are the ones dying, the ones getting put in jail, you know what I mean, because the guns are available.
Right.
They're not
dealing with a manufacturer
or even having a 3D printer that could print a ghost gun.
A ghost gun.
But the end result is young black men dying and being put in jail.
And you know what? The result is going to be just more police presence in the street.
Of course.
They're never going to go to the answer of having more Erica Fords in the world, more
They're
people who are out there helping kids find things to do.
My hope is, this is my hope with Eric Adams, and we haven't had him on the program. Y'all have heard, if you listen to the program, you've heard my theories on that. My hope is that Eric Adams is reestablishing his credibility as a mayor with the police department. Because
the de Blasio relationship was so bad.
Right. In the months and years to come, he knows he's got to hold them accountable if they are out here abusing their positions. Because we've had conversations with him before he was mayor about not trusting that police, the same police who have been abusing people in this city for generations, are the same ones that are going to be the solve. So we're going to see.
Yeah, because it's like, it's not only young kids dying, it's also, guys, it's also babies. It's also innocent mothers, fathers. Like, you remember a month ago, a baby was shot in the face, guys. 11-month-old baby was shot and killed in the face. But that's why
you're seeing what you're seeing. That's why you're seeing what you're seeing. And they want it fixed. And they want it fixed now. Because the other thing they want fixed now is the perception of the city. Because now the COVID numbers are down, the weather's going to start getting nice, and they want this business back.
And people are running with the narrative of, like, New York's out of control again. You know, you can't go out anymore, which, by the way, is totally misleading. You know,
kind of hot out here, though.
It is hot. But it's mostly hot, sadly, in the same places that are always hot.
Nah, man. Let's be honest, man. This city's hot.
It's not hot in my neighborhood. It's
well,
cold as could be.
No, but you live in a different neighborhood.
Yeah,
but that's my point.
Rosenberg, the city is hot, bro.
Okay, but my point is, where is it hot?
In the Bronx, uptown.
That's always
Queens.
where it is.
No, Queens.
But it's
Harlem. No, it's
worse.
a different level of hot right
Worse.
now, man.
Yes.
It's not.
No,
it's not. It's not what
we're
it's
not
been.
disagreeing.
It's
We're
not.
not disagreeing. We're not disagreeing. But what I'm saying is the communities being affected by it being, quote, hot are the same communities. They're perpetuating it, though, to make white people scared that they can't go out. What I'm telling you as a white person who lives in a pretty white area, it's the same. unfortunately, it's the hood that's more dangerous than ever. But they use that narrative to scare white people, as Ebro always says, push them more conservative, more police, more police, more police.
I see what you're saying.
When that's
Yeah.
not really
I see
the
what you're saying.
answer. We don't need more over-policing. We need things for kids to do. We need programs. They're going to use this, though, as a reason to beef up the police even more.
Got
And
it.
it's a lie because in my neighborhood, when white people, I'll talk to people like, I hear New York's really rough right now. I'm like, come visit. You're not going to notice in my neighborhood. You think you're going to go out in the 70s or the 80s on the west side and feel like things are hot? You won't. And this is the same thing in LA, too.
Yo, wait, it's not hot up there by the bagel shop?
You mean it's not? You mean it's
Stop
not hot
playing.
by Riverside, man?
You telling me over by Juilliard? It's not crazy, right?
Right.
But-
you can
but
still
here's
go
the
to
thing.
Lincoln Center and you'll be fine.
But here's the thing, Rosenberg. You go 15 blocks up, 125th. It went down last week.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah,
but,
yeah.
but,
Early
but
this
to
week.
Rosenberg's point,
Yeah.
it's kind of always been like that.
It's just worse.
It's
just
just
even
worse.
worse.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's always been like that.
It's always going to be the people of color in this community that are always having worse situations and are going to get over-policed as a result of it. And, you know, in L.A., this is the same conversation in L.A. The difference in L.A. that I found interesting was when I was out there last time is, I don't know the last time you guys were there. You go to Melrose, you can't go to Melrose right now. Melrose is hot. Like I went shopping. You remember where Fat Beats used to be on Melrose?
Yeah.
Like we're talking about the middle of LA where it's like people go shopping to go to like Tyler's store, you know, or that's on Fairfax, I think. You go to main streets and you're like, this doesn't look the same as it used to look. And they're using that narrative to scare people out there too. Oh, LA's out of control. And don't get me wrong, numbers are up, but they use this perception for an agenda.
Absolutely.